You know, our good supporter of the YouTube NHL Sports File is our good friend Kendall Giberson. Now, Kendall is a big supporter of hockey cards, or a big fan. He told me about a situation where he got his initial pack or first pack of hockey cards. There was a whole bunch of players in it that he became lifelong fans of. And one of them, he really drew his attention because in the back of the card, it said he was from Grand Falls, New Brunswick. But a future card, it said he was from Grand Falls, Newfoundland. And correctly, he's Grand Falls, Newfoundland. But I think where people got confused, because a name like Dave Pichette sounds like a good Madawaska Acadian name from the North Shore of New Brunswick. But Dave Pichette, of course, was born in Grand Falls, Newfoundland. Now, Dave Pichette came to heavy prominence as a hockey player by playing in the Quebec Junior A Hockey League and later graduated to the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. He's one of the top young defensemen coming out of the association in 1980. Now, he was never drafted, but when the Nordiques joined the league in 79-80, they were keeping an eye on him for a possibility of a late draft pick or free agent signee, and eventually made it to the Nordiques in 81. He had 4 goals and 16 assists for 20 points in 46 games. Now, after some seasoning in Hershey in that season, he had a full role with the Nordiques in 82 and a good offensive defenseman, 37 points in 67 games. And he had a big victory, as all the Nordiques did, over the Canadians in the playoffs. He had 6 points, but he played a big factor in Quebec's what I call Stanley Cup run. He went really far in the playoffs that year. Now, 83, he played most of the season with Quebec, but did spend time with the Frankton Express for a while, and he drew a lot of fan base because he put up some good points that year. 24 points in the regular season with Quebec, and 14 in the minors with Frankton. Now, 84, excuse me, 84, he had 9 points in the regular season for Quebec, but was eventually traded to St. Louis, where he had 11 points in 23 games in the 84 season. Now, according to Kendall, he was kind of a half power play specialist for New Jersey in 85, and it really showed. He had 17 goals and 40 assists for 57 points, but he had a disastrous minus 20, ladies and gentlemen. Second year with New Jersey, evidently he wasn't doing as much power play time. He split the season with Maine Mariners and the New Jersey Devils, 86 season, 19 points in 33 games with New Jersey. He played the whole season 87 in Maine with 22 points in 61 games. Then moved on to the Ranger franchise, played in New Haven and New York, and his last cup of coffee or time in the NHL was with the Rangers with a goal and 3 assists in 6 games. Now, he played in Europe one season, but came back to Canada to play with the ever-popular Cape Breton Oilers, where he put up 26 points. And then last season, a very strong season with Halifax Citadels, 21 points in 58 games. Now, NHL totals, 41 goals, 140 assists for 181 points in 322 games. And playoffs, 3-7-10 in 28 contests. Now, because he had a strong minor hockey career, he literally got his first recognition, like a lot of players, at the 72 and 73 Quebec International Pee Wee Hockey Tournament. He was playing with Saint Foy, Quebec City. Now, with all the teams he played for, like I said, over that decade, he's probably one of the most underrated defensive players. I would suspect that Pichette and that 82 team, the reason why they had so much success in the 82 playoffs is because they had good, strong, young players like Pichette that allowed them to succeed past their skill. I remember him in the series against Montreal, that the big upset where Hunter scored overtime in that infamous Game 5. But the Islanders made it as far as the Princess Wales final, but they couldn't really overcome the Islanders. Now, talking about that 5-game series, Quebec won 3 games by 1 goal, and Pichette played a big factor in all those victories. Now, by the time they got against Boston. He won 2-1 in Game 7 in the Boston Garden, one of the biggest upsets in Quebec Nordique history. But again, playing against the Islanders, it was a rough go. They lost in 4 straight. But the key part was that overtime loss in Game 3, 5-4 at home to the Islanders. But Quebec had enough of a team that year to make it to the finals, but just the Islanders were just a little bit too strong. But I think catching up with Quebec, a 5-game series at the first, 7-game series against Boston, and against Boston they were behind 2-0, and he came back all the way, and that was quite the series for the Quebec Nordiques that year. See, Quebec was that strong that year. Again, they had some really strong players like Pichette. So that's the story about Dave Pichette in the NHL. Again, part of that big cup run in Quebec in '82.